So with the school, what was the school that you actually went to, and who were you training with? Or training
So, so the school, what was the school called? It's called like the Impact Wrestling School or something. Impact Wrestling Training. But the actual promotion was called WAR, the Wrestling Association of Rugby. Yeah, and they trained, I believe it was every Saturday. Used to go down there on a Saturday morning. But the coaches there were two brothers. One was called Simon Platt, Stuart Platt, and there was a guy called Rayner as well. So yeah, it was quite a few people there. A few different coaches as well, for different levels. But yeah, I trained there for just under a year, maybe.
what was an average day of training there like, and roughly how many students do you have in the class? Because it can very much vary though in the terms of numbers. Sometimes you'll have school with 4 students, or you'll have a school with 25 students.
From what I remember, it was quite busy every week that I went, because they only had the one class. It must have been at least 15 to 25. Like I said, they had the 3 different coaches. They had this grading system where you'd be ticked off when you were competent at certain things, and then maybe you'd move to the next class, and then the next class up, and then you'd be deemed show ready, whenever they saw fit.
So was everyone like the same experience level in your class, or was it like a mix of different?
Oh, it was definitely a mix. Like they had like a beginners class, which I started off in. There was maybe 2 or 3 of us in there, and then I picked it up very quickly. So they kind of moved me on to the next one, and yeah, kind of spiraled from there.
So what was the average day of training like? Were they one of the schools where as soon as you start, they don't have you go in the ring right away? You're mostly just doing stretches, doing stuff on the mat, or were they have you running the ropes the first day? One of those schools.
One thing over here is, with the schools I went to anyway, to start with, I didn't have a ring for years. We trained on little gym, like blue gym mats. Like first time I think I got in a ring was the day before my first show.
Oh, wow.
We had like an in-ring training day, and then it was a show the next day. But all up until that point, we trained on little blue gym mats and crash mats and things like that.
Just taking bumps on them. I'm guessing a lot of chain wrestling.
Yeah, we did a little bit of chain wrestling. It was more like, from what I remember from the school, we'd learn to bump, on the crash mats, all kinds of bumps, things like that. Maybe like hip tosses, body slams, and then everything to get a little bit madder. But no, we did a little bit of wrestling there. Yeah, the more technical wrestling would come later on when I'd move schools.
As far as psychology, promo work, camera stuff, was it a school that taught a lot about that, or was it more the foundation, getting the basics out of you?
What I remember, it was mainly the basics. I remember doing the promo class there. I didn't really like the promo thing, because I'm a very, very shy person, especially back then. It's really weird that I became a professional wrestler, because I had crippling stage fright. So to actually like go out there half naked now and perform in front of however many people is quite bizarre to me. But I remember my first experience with promos. We kind of had everyone in a line. I can't remember if they had a subject or anything, but had to. I think one of the coaches stood there, and you had to look at them, and you basically had one shot at doing this promo. And I remember going up there, and I stumbled my words, and this went next. And it kind of like crushed me a little bit, because I felt embarrassed doing that in front of everyone, and then going to stand at the back of the line. I didn't really like that format, but that's the first thing I remember, like promo wise. There, I think I only did the one. That was my only memory of doing promos at that school.